Hello everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Today we're going to talk about comparing two pictures. And the reason why we're talking about that is because, as I'm sure you know, if you go to do the CAE exam, often you'll be asked to compare and contrast two particular pictures. It pops up in other exams as well, often in the B2, although it depends, of course, who you're doing it with, but it is usually part of the Cambridge exams. So let's talk about how we compare two things. Now, when you're asked about comparing and contrasting, what you don't ever want to do is simply to say what's in them. Oh, one picture has this, this, and this, and the other picture has this, this, and this. That's not a really good approach. Within seconds, your vocabulary will be gone. They're looking for you to really see what these pictures have in common and also to see how they're different. Now, usually in an exam, they'll give you a choice of 3 pictures and then you choose 2 to work with. Again, depending on the exam you're doing, that's the usual kind of way they approach these things. So, I'm looking at 2 pictures right now. These 2 pictures are not related. In fact, they're very, very different. There are 2 pictures which are hanging on the wall, okay, in my apartment. One is a picture of a dolphin that I painted, okay, and the other one's a photo of a high point of my town, okay. So they're 2 very different things, so we have to find ways of bringing them together or else talking about their differences, okay. So here goes. Compared to the rather dark town picture, the other one clearly is a very brightly coloured portrait of what appears to be a dolphin diving deep into the ocean. In the first picture, there's no sign of any lake or ocean. It's actually a photograph. And although light in the sky is very bright, it still can't compare to the other picture, which is a mixture of colors, a real blend of how the sun reflects when it lands upon the sea. In the first picture, there's a church tower which is protruding into the sky. The clouds appear to be roving around it and roaming across the sky. There's no such thing in the second picture. In the second picture, unlike the first, it is a drawing. It's a painting. It's full of colours, which really don't exist in the first one. The first one could be described as a rather gloomy, dark photo, which, although has a lot of light in the sky, isn't able to convince me that it was taken during the day. It seems to be at twilight. In comparison to that, though, the second picture really is highlighting a lot of colour and lights. It appears to be a fish at the bottom of the ocean, and the beautiful array of colours, a crescendo of colour, is surrounding the fish. So if we put both of these pictures together, what we have is one which is really brightly reflecting the light in a kind of Cuban coffee shop kind of way, and another which is rather dark and disappointing. Light, however, is mirrored in both of these pictures. Although if I was asked to choose one, I certainly would choose the second one, the one with the fish, because the dolphin itself looks a little bit transparent against a beautiful purple background with an array of green, brown, orange, and yellow. The other picture, in complete contrast to that, has blue breaking through a sky, the sun reflecting through the church tower or the church steeple, but the other things aren't really distinguishable. There's an old dark house, there's a very dark street, and the only thing which is lighting up that picture is indeed the clouds and the way the sun is shining through them. Now let's look at some comparative terms that we can use, okay? So I've used quite a few of these already, but I'll just run through them quickly. In contrast to, in comparison with, however, but, in the same way, in much the same way, in a different way. These are just some of the ones that you can pull out. Unlike, just like. So you see, it's not so hard to make up a story, but you really need to have some element of truth when you're looking at two things. Now, I can almost guarantee you that in the exam, it's not going to be a painted picture with a photo. It's going to be two photos, okay? Maybe two painted pictures, but usually it's two photos. So it'll be much easier to pull out things that they have in common, especially if they're themed. So, for example, you might find a picture of two people studying in a forest leaning against a tree, or you might see another picture of a group of people studying in a classroom. So the theme there is much easier to work with. But again, what you don't want to do is just to describe the photos. In the first picture, there's two people in a tree. In the second picture, there's more or less. That's not the correct attitude to have. It would be something more like, across both pictures, we can see a general theme of education. In the first picture, there are two people leaning against a tree, which is in direct contrast to the other picture, which is a classroom full of people. I rather prefer the classroom. Academic settings, I feel, are much better ways to study. Just like the first picture, the second one has a lot of books, and it's more centered around learning. I feel that in the other picture, there's too many distractions. However, both are very nice pictures, but they're portraying education in two very different ways. So you see, this kind of thing is much easier to work with. And that's it. I just wanted to explain that for you. All right, so if you are doing any exams in the near future, I wish you well with that. And if you need any kind of support with it, don't hesitate to contact me. That's it. Okay, so I'll catch up with you all soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye.